and didn't really find a problem with it, which it's like he put in some STP and also put in some water wetter, but the water wetter didn't do a damn thing. It's still at the same temperature that it was before. And also, I did hear that kind of noise, which I actually caught on camera, but I'd have to look back to see if it actually caught it or not, because I don't know for sure. But, you know, I'm just cruising down the QE2 in my 81 Mustang here, and, or 81 Mustang, no, 81 Capri. So used to doing this in my Mustang, not the Capri. And, you know, like, this is a nice car. It is rusty. And, you know, like, it does have some problems. Like, I need to fix the valve cover gasket. I need to, fix the shape. I think it's the brake rotors, but I could be wrong. And there's a few other things I should do to this thing. You know, just to make it just a little bit better. You know, just a little bit. And, you know, but I mean, the fuel economy is the one that worries me the most. Because, and also, like, the oil tends to thin out very quickly. Which, I swear I smelled gas on the oil. Perhaps I didn't, but it smelled like I did. And, you know, it's just, it's one of these things. I don't really know. So what's gonna happen is this car's gonna get parked for a while, to be honest, until I can really afford to do any work to it properly. And I'm just gonna be driving my Mustang for the next while. Because the Mustang gets way better fuel economy and runs better than this thing does. Although I will say I need to swap out that carb so that it runs optimal, because right now, after I vapor lock the carb, it hasn't been the same since. I just want to swap it out anyways, because to go to the Holly carb, because the Holly carb also will, it's a manual choke, which is better than the automatic choke that the Motorcraft has. And there's just better adjustability to it, and if you want to make any adjustments to it, well, it's just so much better for that. It's a more tuner-friendly carburetor versus a Motorcraft carburetor that isn't really that. And, you know, it's one of these things, and like, when I thought about, because I have the parts, I could swap this thing to a 2-barrel and spend almost nothing, just depending on, I might need a throttle cable, but that would be it. But that wouldn't really fix my problems, though. See, oh, and here we go. It's starting to make that noise. Oh. Yeah, like, can you hear that? Like, that's the motor. It's making that noise as we speak. Like, just listen to that. And now that comes and goes periodically. Hi! I'm just cruising home, and, like, is my camera picking up that noise that this thing's making? Like, and it's definitely, the engine that's making that noise, 100%, because when I do accelerate or decelerate, the pitch changes of that. So, like, can you hear that? Like, it sounds kind of tappity, more so than a knock, but that could be a knock, too. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, see, okay, so you are hearing that. Because, yeah, and it'll do that periodically. Okay, great. That's awesome. Because I wasn't sure, like, if it was picking that up or not, under the hood. Just because there are, you know, just because I can hear something doesn't mean that my camera picks it up, right? But, you know, I just, this car, like I said, hearing And that comes and goes. It will eventually drop oil pressure too, and I'll lose power. So, you know, that's kind of a problem. And, you know, and it's just like, and this thing doesn't get very good look on me. It should. This thing should get phenomenal gas mileage. Well, I say phenomenal, I mean, it should get right around 25, 26. I'm lucky if I get 20, to be honest. Yeah, I'm in the Capri. It's the only hatchback I own. So, plus, it's, you know, it's got this. That right there is just one of the coolest things. Having that rear wiper is amazing. See, and now, that noise is gone. Like, that noise is completely gone. See? Like, that's how weird it is. That comes and goes. It can stay for as long as about 10 or 15 minutes, and then it can, but also be as short as about a minute. Like, I was recording earlier, and, yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know, like, the thing is, it's not a Ford, it's a Mercury. It's a Mercury Capri. This is a 1981 Mercury Capri, which is, granted, Ford product line in a way, but it's actually a Mercury, so it's a little different. Like right now, I am just 55 kilometers outside of Red Deer, so I still got a ways to go to get back home. Because like today, you know, did the dyno, that all went pretty good. You know, and actually helped a friend of mine with, she had a medical problem that I was able to help her with. You know, and I was just able to comfort her, make sure she was okay. Which, it's funny because at the same time, I was about ready to faint when I went over to do that. So, except, you say that, but that's more of a Dodge thing. Fords don't typically do that. Oh yeah, exactly. I know Harvey. Trust me. I grenaded an engine the same way. My 86 Mustang, which is actually now running and driving, by the way. Which is awesome. I got to see it today at the dyno day, which was cool, you know. Yeah, it's just one of these things that, like, my buddy Keith did drive this car, and he didn't really find anything wrong with it. Like, he put some water wetter in it, and he put some STP. The water wetter, if it did anything, it's not much. And the STP, I don't think did a damn thing. I do have some Lucas, I think, around. I'd have to search for it, but I think I do have some. So I could put it in here, don't get me wrong. But, I don't know. This car right now, I do not have... I just don't have faith in it. Which is sad, because I like the car, and this is supposed to be my new daily driver, but I legit do not have faith that this is going to be a reliable car for me. Not as it currently sits. The motor, just doing the things that it does not provide me with, you know, that security. And that's the one thing, like, and I can work on cars, obviously, you all know that. And like, and it's a 200 inline six. That should be a really good engine. But I don't know. Plus, the fact that this thing gets terrible fucking gas mileage, and it's how hot it runs. Which, granted, how hot it runs, a rad will fix that. But well, look. What? What are you talking about? Ford Centurion. The Ford Centurion was a van truck thing, and you know, like, and that's not what I owned. I owned a it, the Ford Centurion was Ford's official version of it, but there were versions of it prior to the Centurion. Like mine was a Triple E Camelot conversion. The Ford E350, yeah. And again, mine wasn't a Centurion. It was a Ford E350 Triple E Camelot conversion. And hi, Shane. You might witness some of what this car does and why I have zero security in it. Okay, I read that comment. I got a 901 Crown Vic with a 5.0 V8. Yeah, see, that's not even real. No. And also, I believe by 1991, the Crown Victoria would have had a 4.6, and there's no such thing as a 5-liter Hellcat turbo. That doesn't... No. A Hellcat is 6.2 liters, for one. And, yeah, like, that comment doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. And, like, a 5-liter is, like, there's the Ford 5-liter. Well, you might hear this thing, run really rough once I get the Red Deer, which I'm not too far out. I'm like 50 or so kilometers out. See, Harvey, I can't remember if it was 91 or 92. I know it was one of those 2 years, to be honest, of, you gave it Hellcat Reddit. What are you talking? Okay. O&R Detailing News, what are you even talking about? Because legit, you're making no sense. Apologies, but it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I think I hear that tick coming back. Yeah? Ah, okay, there you go, Hardy. So yeah, I guess you would know. Because I always get it mixed up of what year it was. And see, now I am... I mean, I wish this, I wish this engine, to be honest, Shane, my brain's blanking. I'm really tired. I'm only running on like 4 hours of sleep. Plus, I just worked the fucking dyno all day long, so, you're gonna have to cut me a little bit of slack. But, yeah, like, I'm dead tired. And, like, when I hit Red Deer, I'm probably gonna get a little bit of gas. Like, I'm only gonna put in maybe 20 bucks in gas. Because like I said, I'm gonna park this car. I don't have faith in it. Like, hearing the lifter, like, tick, right? Hearing how clackety it sounds too, which the clackety isn't lifters. That would be like rocker arms, which I don't like that. I don't like hearing that. That's not a good thing. This motor, I have zero faith in. And to be honest, like, I wish Shane was closer, because, like, yeah, having you as a resource would be awesome, because just your kind of engineering mind could make up a fix for a lot of shit in my cars without, too much trouble. Yeah, like, and right now, because the shake that this thing has is not necessarily from the motor, but although, I will say one thing, because it only changed... Okay, the thing is, this engine makes more power than what my 81 Mustang does. Part of that can be concluded to the tires. This thing actually runs pretty good overall, but it's drinking fuel. Like, that wouldn't be, a flattened cam. This thing would have no power if it was a flattened cam. So, yeah. The, you know, see, and that could be a thing too. Like, and it's possible that I could maybe, you know, take the valve cover off and tighten up the rockers, or to see if any of them are loose, but that only takes care of the clackety. That's not that random tick that I get. Because legit, it happened on this live, and it might happen again. And because you'll probably see, actually, when I stop in Red Deer, of how bad this thing is going to run. Because when I get off the highway, and granted, that's going to be due to the temperature that it runs at, just because of the rad that's in it. Well, and that's the one thing, like, yeah, like, these inline sixes are supposed to be like a bulletproof engine. And while it hasn't blown up yet, I don't have the faith in this. I just don't. And that's why, like, as soon as I get home, this thing's getting parked, and I'm jumping in the Mustang. Just, you know, from here forward, until I can actually invest time and money into this thing to fix it. Because I don't have the money for it. Like, this wasn't really supposed to be a project, and yet it is one. The projecty stuff. Okay, and now, okay, Chris, you're again, you're talking nonsense. I still, like, what is that? Rotational walking fan? Like, what? What? Like, the fan is not the reason why. Yeah, a fan shroud will only do so much when I only have 0.6 of an inch of radiator that is bent. It's really like that thick. It's not very thick at all. It's just over half an inch. It's 0.6 inches. That's what they put on these from the factory, and it was terrible. Plus, this one's bent. It's amazing that it doesn't leak, but it is bent. So, you know, because somebody decided to pull this thing from the core support, and that did not help matters at all. Because that's, like, not what you do. You don't pull from the radiator core support. If you're gonna pull something out of the bush, you connect to a control arm, or, you know, actually on a Fox body, yeah. If you're trying to pull it forward, hook onto the control arm. It's no big deal. You know? And it's one of these things, though, like, right now, like, the car is running okay. Shane, you know what I mean? If a car's been sitting forever, I just use that as an analogy. You know, like, because whatever, I don't know the history of this car, period. Prior to me and Keith picking it up last summer, I really have no idea. And, yeah. Not from us, like, but it was pulled out of somewhere. I just don't know where. And again, you saying these things, Chris, like that has nothing to do with what is going on with the car at all. What's going on with the car is, like, I'll mention it. The oil is thinning out much faster than it should. You know, it runs really hot. And it gets dreadful gas mileage. It'll also periodically get a tick. And you can hear a bit of clackety, which has likely the rocker arms. So. And the shake that this thing has, although some of that shake, I think, is attributed to the engine. Not the entire shake, because, to be honest, you turn this thing off going down the road, and it'll still continue to shake. But this morning, I figured this out. You gonna pay for it? Like, are you gonna pay for that? See, and Harvey, it could be that. To be honest, I just don't know. Like, that's the one thing I don't know. And it makes sense it's that, to a certain degree. But I fixed that, and I probably still have wiped out bearings. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the problem. You've got a 4BT. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You know, if that was an option, like, I would potentially do it, but it's the money for the other parts that you need to adapt the shit to, right? Because, like, that's going to require a custom drive shaft. That's going to be about, you know, $120 to cut down. That's going to require some sort of adapter plate to adapt to whether it's this C4 automatic or whether it's a different transmission altogether. So there's that. You know, that could set you back another $300-400. And it's one of these things. I'm fucking broke. Like, just seeing this fuel economy is really upsetting. I mean, that would be an interesting swap, and that's something that I would honestly do. Why would I drop a 4.6 in here? I don't want overhead cams. I don't want a bunch of sensors. I don't want an ECU. You know? Like him saying he's got a 4, so not simply 4BT, 4B, which that's the non-turbo. But I think it's called a 4B, anyways. Because the T, if I'm not mistaken, stands for turbo. A 4B is 700 pounds. I thought they were lighter than that. B 4.5, okay. See, I didn't know, to be honest. Yeah, like, I don't know much of the 4BT, other than it's essentially a 6-cylinder 12-valve Cummins. Which makes it actually a really good motor, but... You know, it's just... Yeah. But regardless, like, I do have a spare motor for this car. Like, Keith refuses to think that the motor has a problem, but it does. Like, he hasn't experienced it like I have. Like, he drove it, but it may not have acted up at all. It used to be hooked to a C6 automatic. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, if it's not heavy, yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose, but it'd be an interesting swap, though. I'll say that for sure. Because, you know, it's not like I haven't thought of, like, well, hey, you know, we do have a Nissan SD33 diesel lying around Keith's, that'd be an interesting swap, but again, not worth doing, because it would have no power and it would weigh a ton on the front end. You know, but, like, we gotta find something to do with that motor, to be honest, at some point, because we're gonna rip that motor out of that. Oh, there it is. See, hear that? There's that lifter tick. Like, and it's interesting, like, hearing that sound, because if you know nothing about cars, that kind of sounds like a blower motor that's going out, you know? But that's not what it is. Blowers aren't even on, so. Yeah, actually, you know what? Kind of, yeah. Like, if hail's hitting your car, it sounds similar, right? It's not a good noise, you know? So that's twice during this live stream that's done that. And now, we'll see if it goes away or if it just continues, how many times is it going to happen during this stream? You know, like, yeah, there's something wrong with this engine. And I'm pretty sure the gas is getting into the oil pan in some capacity. Whether it's through the carburetor or like through the head, it's a possibility. Like doing what my 86 Mustang did. See, and it doesn't really, like, I thought I smelled it, but it's perhaps that I was just driving the car and I was just smelling gas from going down the highway. I don't really know. But, like, just listen to that. Like, it's not good. It's really not good. And Keith says, well, hey, it's a, 43-year-old engine or 42-year-old engine. So, and ooh, that's a cool little, that's a Dodge Omni. See, and the one thing is, like, this thing boils the oil as well, which that's not a good sign, because when I pulled the dipstick this morning, because, okay, little thing. So this morning, I drove the car down the road, and all of a sudden, it was, it started to shake violently, and it was not good. So I'm like, okay, and it could. That's one thing. If oil gets thinned out, it can easily boil. So, it's one of those things, right? I'm just, because like I said, so this morning, driving the car down the highway, I get no more than 20 minutes outside of Sundry. And all of a sudden, the engine, like, the car starts to shake violently. And the thing is, I thought, well, okay, maybe this is the shake that this thing always has. And it just got really bad, so I slowed down a bunch to see if it would go away, and it didn't. I stopped completely. Then I started again. It was still there. It wasn't until I pulled over, shut it off, added oil to it to try and, like, to, thicken the oil back up. And when I pulled the dipstick, I saw bubbles in the oil, which is just like, that's an indication that and it was thin too. Like, that's an indication that, hey, this oil is boiling, right? Because of the bubbles in it. Now, it's possible there's just air, but that's a little odd, because that's typically not a thing. Like, I don't have that in my other car. But yeah, like, and I looked at the oil and, like, it was very thin. So, I added about 500 milliliters of oil. There you go. But yeah, I mean, but there shouldn't be air in there, period, right? Like, that's a problem. And so, it's one of these things where, like I said, it just goes back to, I don't have faith in this engine whatsoever. It's a problem. And it'd be nice to be able to fix this problem. Because, like, Lilith, I have a spare motor. Like, it hasn't been gone through or anything, but it was in another car running and driving pretty good. Like, Buddy did a full tune-up on it. And he only swapped it because he wanted to build an LS sleeper and out of his Fairmont, which, go figure, he's putting an LS in a Fairmont to make it a sleeper, but every Fairmont is a sleeper. I swear there's no stock Fairmonts left. But yeah, so here in Red Deer, which I'm just gonna stop at Gasoline Alley and just put like 20, maybe 30 bucks in it. That should get me home with any luck. Oh yeah, like the one thing is, they're great. The LS engine is a fantastic engine. Don't get me wrong. And like the swaps for me, I'm not really a big fan of just because of how common they are. But because I like the weird stuff, right? Like this inline six is an example. This is kind of cool and weird for me. Yeah, see, I mean, I already put STP in here, which would do the same thing, and it did nothing. I'm still having the same problems as I did before. So, I think it's only a matter of time before this motor blows up. And I mean, I could swap the fuel pump and see if that does anything, but like I just don't know. Like I would hate to spend the money, like money that I don't really have at the moment. Like I'll have a little bit of money, like I have a little bit of money right now, that's a lot of this is gonna get spent really soon here. I'll have more money tomorrow because I should be getting selling some parts off my parts car, like the rear quarters and the wiring harness. So I'll clear 280 bucks, which is pretty good. Yeah, from that, somebody was asking me about a oh hey, I see a Firebird. That's cool. That's a 70s, like late 70s Firebird. It's gold. Sweet. But you know, just yeah, I just like I said, I don't have faith in this engine, and I just don't really want to spend the money on it. I really don't. I have zero desire to spend money on this car right now. I'd much rather just swap the carbon stitch and drive stitch. Stitch is a more pleasurable experience in this car. Like, well, this car is nice and quiet and stuff like that, but shifting the gears and just enjoying the drive that way is so much more fun, you know? Like, and this is supposed to be the nice daily driver. That's what this is supposed to be. It's not currently, but that's what it's supposed to be. And, yeah, like, and I'm surprised, because, you know, when we changed the oil, there was no metal shavings, which I was surprised about, considering it lost oil pressure. Like, not completely losing oil pressure, but it lost oil pressure and started to just have, like, zero power, you know? Like, it was losing speed going up the hills, which shouldn't happen. Like this car, it's not like my 81 Mustang with the tall ass tires to where it could actually lose speed. Oh yeah, like I know. Harvey, I know. It's one of these things, I just like the look of the 275s. I already know it performs a hell of a lot better with smaller tires. Because in the wintertime, I have 195 7014s that I put on it, and it makes a world of difference. But the only catch to that is that because of the 355s and the T5 that only has a 0.72 overdrive rather than a 0.67, is it revs to like over $3,000 on the highway. So it kind of, the 28-inch tall tires are better for that versus the 25.4, which is currently on this car. I do have another set of tires that are that 24.3, I think it is. I don't know. Like the winters, and also like I have these BF Goodriches on the other wheels. But I do want to swap those tires onto this car, onto these wheels, onto this car. But I don't want to swap these wheels out, if you know what I mean. I love the Keystone Black Stars, It's a better look than the CSA 1622s. So, yeah. You know, I'm just headed to Gasoline Alley now because, yeah, like I said, I'm going to, yeah, well, you also, like Shade, you also have a T-Bird. Because 17s on a Fox body just look a little weird, in my opinion. Because it's just not enough, you know, it's not enough tire. It's just a lot of, you know, rim or wheel, which I'm not a big fan of. But which like, and these tires, I think they need to balance because with the other tires they didn't pull, but with these tires it pulls to the right. So I think I need to balance these tires. But you know, but that's far and away from the problems that I have with this car right now. That's so minor that I don't really give a shit. Oh, I didn't see your comment. Oh, that's on the murder wagon. Okay, yeah, still. That is a heavily modified thing, and again, like I don't find 17s looking as good on a Fox one. You know, mind you have the height in your tires because you have the 70 profile and 245s, which helps, but yeah, it's just one of these things. I prefer to see more tire than rim in that regard. Like I love 14s with a 70 profile. It's wonderful. Yeah, and I mean, like, and it's interesting because you know, like Keith said, that, like, yeah, these tires ride like terrible, but these tires ride just fine. It's just they pull a little bit. That's all. Which again, that's just a wheel align or just a wheel balance issue. Could be a tire pressure issue too. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think so because I did all the tire pressures when I put these on. So I don't know. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, gas is $1.47 here? Fuck. But also something funny about these tires. Can you hear that? That's the tires squealing. And yet I'm not going fast at all. It's hilarious with these Westlake tires. Like, I wasn't going fast at that traffic circle at all. It's just one of those things. But I need to put gas in this car, so you guys will be left alone for a minute. Because I need to run into the store and do that. Right? Like, and it doesn't do that with the BF Goodriches. The BF Goodriches actually have quite a good amount of traction. These don't. See, and hang on. Just listen to that. Like, it runs like dog shit. And there's nothing I can really do about it. But at the moment, but yeah, I'm just gonna shut that off, and cause I need to go in because I only have cash. I don't have anything in my bank right now, so I shall be right back. Okay, it doesn't have a bad tie rod end, dude. I just said it didn't have this problem before. Fuck. Oh. See, and actually, Shane, the this these tires aren't old. They're only about 3 years old, and like they're a cheaper brand, but they still have decent traction, and they're not dry rotted or anything like that. It's just a terrible tire. That's all. There we go. All right, that puts me over half a tank. Yeah, that's actually almost 3/4 of a tank. So that'll work. I could have just filled it, but why? All right. See, now this thing's running super hot. It's like, cause the stupid thing is, like, Fox bodies don't actually have a proper temperature gauge. Like, well, they do, but it doesn't actually tell you the actual temperature itself. What it does tell you, however, is, well, basically, like, how much in the normal it is. And this thing, as I just had it sit there, this is a problem without having a fan shroud, to be honest, is that I jump in it and, oh, look at that, it's like almost to the H in hot or cold, or yeah, hot or cold. But yeah, like, to be honest, it's one of these things. But like I said, these tires are not that old. I had these on Stitch before, although they didn't do that squealing sound in Stitch, but it's so funny, right? And it's so much fun. See, and it's too bad I did not have a Costco membership, because $1.36 wouldn't be bad. Oh, they're actually shut down. Okay, that's weird. I was gonna say, it's not that late yet. It's like, what, 8 o'clock? Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. Yeah, they wouldn't be shut down yet, I don't think. Maybe they would be. I don't know. And whee! Traffic circle. Yeah, now you're gonna probably hear that tire again. Arch! Oh, is it? Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, like I said, I'm in Gasoline Alley, which there is one thing you need to do when you're at Gasoline Alley. I'm sure you can probably think of it there, Hardy. Because you're like the only Albertan that I know of that's in the chat currently. And they should still be open. No. No. Something that exists in Calgary and here, and there's actually one in Edmonton now too. I don't really eat donuts, but that's because I can't really eat them all that well. Because of a lot of the time they have chocolate and sugar. Yep. Best milkshakes in the world. Hi, can I get a plain cheese dog?
Plain cheese dog, okay, please.
And a vanilla shake, please.
And a vanilla shake.
Yep.
Anything else?
I know it's everything. Can I get ketchup in the bag?
Sure,
Alright, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like, it's really expensive to come here. Like, you know, literally, a milkshake and a hot dog is like 13, 14 bucks. But it's so worth it. Their burgers suck, but they're, let's see, do they want me here? Or, no, they want me at the second window, okay.
Oh, there's 3055 or something.
I don't know where that is, but I can find it.
New Jersey?
No, it's fine, thank you.
Here you go. Salamat for the order.
Thank you. There we go. Perfect. If I could find that little baggy thing that I have. Because I put my change in this little, this pouch that I have. Yeah, that's the one thing. A large fry from Peter's will feed a family of 5. It actually says that on it. It's hilarious. A small fry is still like this big, you know, and it's like filled with. I mean, their fries suck here, but like really, you come here for the milkshakes. The food itself is not that bad, but you know, the milkshakes is what's worth the money. See, and this thing in gear right now, it's running like absolute dog shit. Like that's one of the reasons why. Like I just again zero faith in this engine. And I actually had like Roy Marco. He tuned this carburetor. He couldn't get rid of that. And you know, like granted, didn't have a carb rebuild kit, but I don't think that's the problem. Like, ugh, it's just one of these things. You know, because like I have an expectation of what this engine should be. Thank you. Perfect. Well, yeah, of course. Like right now, it's actually the oil pressure. It's not low, but it is a little lower. Sitting here. And like, I just drink and feel pretty good. It's, you know, just one of these things. Why is it taking so long for that milkshake? That's wild. It's usually pretty quick. There you go. Just needed to plug my phone in. I mean, it didn't actually need it. It was at 88%, but I want to make sure it's charging. And yeah, you know, fuck, I am just so tired. Like, as soon as I get home, I'm like, literally, I'm feeding my cats and I might just fall asleep. But I mean, sitting here, like, you know, it's running hot. Not super hot. I just saw the thermostat kick in and you know, it went down, which luckily the thermostat works. I'm curious what thermostat's actually in it. Because I haven't checked that, to be honest. Like, you know, like maybe it's like a 215 thermostat or something dumb too. But I mean, it would still do what it's doing now. But you know, because like I would put honestly in this car, I'd put in like a 185 thermostat probably until I swapped that rad, and then once I swapped the rad, I'd go to like a 205. Because I think I have either a 195 or a 205 in station. Thank you. You know, and it works pretty good. You know, that car, I don't really have any problems with it, other than, you know, because there's no fan shroud, that it has the problem with, you know, when you're, when you come off the highway, sort of thing. And, you know, and then you come off the highway, then you come to an idle, and the temperature will creep up because there's no fan shroud. That's the reason why this does it too. Yeah, like I love Fox bodies. They're fun. Especially like, you know, the Mustang and the Capri. Like I own one of each, obviously. And I've owned. This is my second Capri I've owned, and I have owned technically 4 Mustangs, but some of those are parts cars. So like 2 of those are parts cars. Wait, nope, 5 Mustangs. That's what it is. It's a finger guard. It literally says caution fan on it. It's like this big, but like that. You know, like it's not very big at all. God, this thing just runs like dog shit right now. That's the thing, when it's really warm, it does this. Just missing and stuff, which that's indicative of, you know, gas getting into the fucking oil pan though. Like that could be a sign of it. I should say. And just one of these things. Like, I just, again, have zero faith. See, it's interesting because I've looked into an electric fan and I kind of noticed something about them. So an electric fan would actually have more draw than what the plastic fan does. And it's not a clutch fan. It's a fan that's always running, too. So, and like there's more of a parasitic draw actually from an electric fan versus, you know, what I have here. It's one thing if it was a clutch fan. It would beat a clutch fan. And sorry, just messaging somebody back because they're interested in the recorders. Now something stupid. So I asked, can I get ketchup in the bag? They gave me 3 of these giant packets of ketchup, which for reference, one of these packets is actually too much for a hot dog. But they don't have regular size packets. I love these packets, don't get me wrong, but they always give you too much. Like, you don't need this. See, I mean, at a highway speed, yeah, what the hell am I looking at here? This, oh. Okay, I asked, hang on. I gotta go exchange this, because that's not what I ordered. Yeah, this is like a loaded cheese dog. I asked for a plain one. Give me a second. Sorry about that. See me, I'm back. See me. Let's go. Yeah, and I mean, like, so electric fans technically would cycle. There we go. Hey, they got it right this time. Cool. And technically on the highway would be better, but in town it would actually be worse. Which, granted, I do majority highway driving, don't get me wrong, but it's one of these things where I like the simplicity of it too, and that's something that's not going to break. Like, where an electric fan, like, if your fan breaks, like, if you have a problem with your electric fan, you're fucked. If you have an issue with a clutch fan, you know, when you're driving and the clutch seizes up, because that can happen, you're screwed, right? But with a fully, you know, mechanical fan that has no drawbacks, and it's plastic, so it doesn't actually, you know, rob that much power. Yeah, I mean, a lot of newer cars, period, are just gonna have straight up electric fans. You know, like even a lot of the Fox bodies actually, well, I shouldn't say a lot of the Fox bodies. The V6s, or at least some of the V6s, and all of the 4-cylinders got electric fans. Now it wasn't a very good electric fan, but it was an electric fan. It pushed a lot of air. It just was not very efficient though. Wait, I actually have one of those fans from my '83 Mustang parts car, not the convertible that I have right now, the one before it. I had an '83 notchback as a parts car like 3 or 4 years ago. This would have been 3 years ago. And yeah. Mm. Mm. I'm just so freaking tired. And I still have about an hour drive. So, you know, it's getting back to Sundre. And, like, I'll lose you guys on the drive. I know that, because between Sundre and Olds, the rolling hills, I just lose signal. So, once I hit that area, I'll just end the live then. So, that'll be in about 40 minutes or so, once I'm done eating this hot dog. Yeah, so I just gotta make sure that I get up tomorrow. Because, like, I'm gonna be so tired and so sore. And I'm still gonna be doing stuff tomorrow. Like, ugh. That's rough. You know, because, like, when I do these dyno days, like, they just wipe me out. I mean, I was already tired because I was only running on, like, 4 hours sleep. And then I'm even more tired now. From that full day of working. And then, like, I had, you know, I actually, like, I helped a friend with a medical emergency there. She actually had a seizure, or at least she was seizing anyways. And, you know, so, like, luckily, you know, I was there, caught it, and, like, one of the other guys who was helping, he, like, he knew a little more first aid than I do, because it's been a couple of years since I've had my certification redone. But he noticed that it was a left side, so we flopped her over on that side, make sure it was all good. And then I kind of just comforted her, made sure she was okay. And afterwards, like, she was fine. And luckily, like, it only lasted about 3.5 or 4 minutes, so we didn't have to call anybody. She specifically wanted us not to call, which, you know, that's fine. She was able to get through it, and she's okay now, so that's all that matters. Because I know if you have a seizure, if it lasts 7 minutes, then it becomes a problem. Major issue, actually. So the fact it was only 3.5, 4 minutes, that was fine. And she was when she got out of it, she was quite cognitive and she was good. So I'm really glad about that. Because she's a fantastic person. Like I'm honestly, I really like her. She is really cool, and big jokester and stuff like that, which is great. I love that. And yeah, she just made the day really fun overall. And it was nice because actually this dino day had really good help, because usually the help is questionable, but this time around I didn't really have to guide them as much as I usually have to, so that was nice. But anyways, let's get back on the road. Yeah, see, I just wait for that incessant buzzing to go away before I start the car, because I want to see where the temperature's at. And so, just for reference, this is normal for this thing when you just get off of driving and you park it. That is that high up on the gauge. It's about, give or take, 3/4 of the way up the gauge. So, which is bad. But again, that's partially due to the rad. Actually, that's mostly the rad. So, if I had, I wish I had the money, because I'd just go get a really good aluminum rad for this car. But I don't have the money, so. But it sucks, because I sold a really good aluminum rad with my convertible, and it makes me sad. But that's okay. Oh, excuse me. Fuck. Alright. Let's continue on. Oh, hang on a second. I say that, but my seatbelt's all sorts of screwed up. Hang on, it's twisted. There we go. There we go. There we go, and just cruising down the road. See, I actually have a temp gun, and I haven't tried it on this yet, just to see what it exactly runs. I should just put it in the car, and when I park it, and then that happens, I should just check it to see what it's actually running at. Because that would actually tell me what the thermostat is, too. There's that. It's a good idea. I should do that. Like I said, I have a temperature gun. I think it's an infrared temperature gun, which is that's the one type you want. And it does work. I bought it last year, I think. Last year, maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember. But I bought it, I bought my borescope, and, the borescope, that's been a little disappointing, but... yeah. Oh, that makes sense. And that's something that I could look into. I already know, that this rad is screwed. Actually, I'm not in that lane, fuck. Nope. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, traffic circles are really not that hard. Like, people don't know how to use them, which is pretty sad, but for me, like, I don't have any problems with the traffic circle whatsoever. And also, be on the lookout tomorrow. I filmed a video. It's already uploaded to YouTube. I just didn't put it public yet because I wasn't really going to be around to check on the progress or anything of the video, so I was just going to wait. But if basically what it's going to be about, though, is like takeover culture. And you know, the sort of mentality that comes with it. It's not really, like, because takeovers are just dumb and just ridiculous, and like, and I find actually, like, don't get me wrong, I love a good burnout, and there was a few burnouts today actually. They were actually encouraging it at this particular event. So, you know, they actually had, you know, like a burnout sort of pad, but it was just on the streets, and there were like traffic and stuff, which that's kind of a problem, but you know, that's one of those things. But it was cool, like, to see the cars do the burnouts and stuff, and there were some cars that just did pitiful burnouts, but there were other ones that did really good ones, so. Ooh, that is a Mark III Supra. That was cool. You guys probably wouldn't have been able to tell that it was a Mark III, but yeah, it was. You know, I guess it's cool. And it's interesting because, like, the Toyota Supra has an interesting history, and its fanboys are quite interesting because, like, well, the Supra, I love the Supra. I like every generation of the Supra. I prefer the third gen the most. I would even, like, really love a first gen. But because it started out as an off branch of the Celica, people will actually say that the Toyota Supra, the first generation, wasn't until the Mark III, when that's just entirely false. You know, because even though, yes, it's an offshoot of a thing, the one thing is, it was still kind of its own model to a certain degree. Like, while it was a trim option, it did have differences between the regular Celica. So where the Toyota Celica actually ran a 4-cylinder engine, like typically 20, like 18R, 20R, 22R, the Supra always had an inline 6. So it obviously produced more power, and it was more of the, you know, more of that way, I guess you could put it. And, no, it's just, one of the things, like, and I'm so glad that I can't even say I'm almost home, because, like, there's still an hour left of this drive, but it'll be nice to end this drive and just be able to relax and go to sleep. Because literally, I'm getting home, I'm feeding my cats, and I'm probably just gonna crash. You know, wake up at some ungodly hour in the morning, but whatever. Because my cats, I know, will be hungry, so I left them with what I thought was enough food, but I didn't know how long I was gonna be at this event, so it was just when I'm home, because my dad's actually off at work. So that's the reason why this is a day trip and not me like just staying at my buddy Keith's place. You know? And like, because who knows? Maybe we tinker with this thing a little more and see, but to be honest, I don't know. Although now it's actually running at an okay temperature. That's a little lower than it normally is. You know, so maybe that water wetter is working a little bit, but like this product, it's in a bottle. You can buy it. It's apparently called water wetter, and it'll actually make your car run cooler. It's interesting. Like Keith swears by it. I've never used it until now, but you know, like I mean, it might be a little lower. It's not much, but then again, this isn't really like I said, this gauge doesn't actually show you how, you know, hot or cold your engine actually is. All it shows you is just normal and hot and cold. That's it. So, you know, like that's something that I want to do, like on my Mustang. I would like to put, because I do have, so I have an oil temperature gauge, which that's nice. I have a proper oil pressure gauge, and I have a water temperature gauge. I need to still install those in the car, and I will at some point. It would be nice to be able to, because, so, the gauge cluster itself, it would be awesome to put one of those gauges in there, but I don't know if I can, or I don't even know how to, like how to actually take those gauges out to replace them. I don't know how to do that. I do have a spare gauge cluster that I can test out for that, because it's got a cracked thing on it anyway, so you know, I could take it apart and see. I got that years ago. I was in a trade, and like I was buying some parts, and he just threw it in with it. I'm like, cool. I don't need it, but that's cool. Yeah, no, to be honest, I'm trying to stay awake, which I will. Like, I'm not gonna fall asleep behind the wheel or anything, but man, it'd be so easy to do that right now. And that's why you stay focused, and you know, you try and keep your mind preoccupied on something when you start to get tired while you're driving. See, for the gauge cluster itself, no, like you can take out the gauge cluster pretty easy. It's literally just 4 screws that comes right out. That, and then you have to disconnect the connectors off the back of it. But the gauges themselves, though, within the gauge cluster, I don't know how to get those out. If you even can. Like, if it's just one of those Ford things where they make it so like it's impossible to do. I just don't know. Like, I haven't really looked into it. I have these gauges, and I should put them in the car, just because they are way better. And the fact that I have an oil temperature gauge is so nice. You know, because an oil temperature gauge is something like that's slightly better than just a temperature gauge itself. Because the oil temperature will give you a better reading than what a regular water temperature gauge will. Because there is a temperature that your oil should be, and then there's a temperature that your coolant should be. Yeah, that's true. There. I'll just flick on my lights. You know, but yeah, like it's something that's really dumb here, coming up, because I'm not there yet. If I and somebody's really walking down the side of the shoulder of the highway with just a couple of bags, and they're surprisingly not hitchhiking, but they're just walking down the highway with a couple of bags. Like, really? That's kind of sketch, especially this time of night. Like, it's very soon going to be dark outside. Give or take another hour, it's gonna be dark. Now, they are not that far out of Innisfail. You know, they're about 5 kilometers outside of Innisfail, so that's not so bad. But still, just walking. That to walk 5 kilometers, like it's gonna take you about an hour, anyways. So I don't know. I wouldn't do that. No siree. I've ridden my bicycle down the side of a highway. It sucked. I will fully tell you that. Yeah, just trying to think of something else to say, because, chat's dead. There's 4 of you, but nobody's chatting. And, yeah, it's just one of these things, like, but hey, at least, like, so something actually, because I didn't actually see the crash exactly happen, but I knew what happened because I was there on site. So I don't know if you saw the video so it was actually a screen recording I did of this S550 Mustang that loses control and crashes into a light pole. And the one thing is, and the light pole gets knocked over, right? Like, those things are like $5,000, and then not including like installation of it. So, and it was still like, although credit where credit's due, it got knocked over and it was still working. That's amazing. But yeah, it was I believe Davenport tuned supercharged S550 Mustang. It was great. And the guy who crashed it actually apparently. He's not usually one to do stunting like that, but there was a crowd. The crowd egged him on, and he did it, lost control, smacked that pole. And yeah, like it was all over. There's a few different videos of it. I've seen, I think, 3 different videos of it. And I was there that night, and it was kind of sketch actually, because, well, that's not something that, that's good, at all. And it was turning into a full takeover. And that event, which is Wild West Wednesdays in, Balzac, it's actually held at New Horizon Mall every Wednesday. Great event, but like the organizers were doing nothing to quell this behavior. And there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why I lost connection. It's not like I was a big dip or anything. I don't need to go that fast. There we go. Yeah, like, it's interesting. On the QE2, sometimes I hit dead spots. I'm like, why? Like, that wasn't even, like, a big dip at all. It's just wild. But, yeah, because, like, I do get a dead spot there every time. Now, like, and something that's dumb is, so, once I pass Bowden here, a couple kilometers down the road, there will be a sign that says Olds 11 kilometers. And then there is a sign that says Olds turnoff within like a kilometer of that. And it doesn't really warn you that it's there. You know, like, yeah, you see the sign, but there's no warning to say, hey, Olds turn off in, 2 kilometers or something. It's so stupid on this highway. It's like, why are you like this highway? But, yeah, like right now, I'm just approaching Bowden at the moment, so I'm not too far from home. But, oh, I am just so tired. Just so tired. See, there's that tick. The tick is back for the 3rd time. About the 7th time today, but the 3rd time this live stream. Cruise control? What is this fandangled thing you talk about? Cruise control is my right foot. It is such a dumb... And I'll show you all of how dumb this is, because, I mean, obviously, Harvey knows. But the rest of you will not. So, there's my kind of view. Sorry you're seeing my, my phone mount. Not much I can do about that. I can turn this, I suppose. But it's still there, so, there's that. Interesting. Well, but like something that was nice is like seeing my old car driving again. Because I don't know what all he did. Like I know that okay, like he swapped some parts out. He swapped the of the dyno, who knows? But yeah, so there's that sign right there, that green sign that you just saw. It says Olds 19 kilometers. Okay? Now watch this. This is the dumbest thing ever. Because that's the only warning that you get. You can see a green sign up there. That's the Olds turnoff. But there's no warning for it whatsoever that it's happening. Like you have the sign that says Olds, next exit, right? But then, so here's the sign. Less than 1 kilometer away. It's like 500 feet, basically. Hey, oh yeah, by the way, here's the turn right here. Like, how dumb is that? Like just a ridiculous thing. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but like I don't know who planned that. That was terrible. And you can see actually, so there's actually a train. I mean, this actually might be blocking said train, but a little bit. Like this is technically the 2A that I'm on right now. And like, yeah, I like the 2A. You know, it's actually a nice road to drive down, but I prefer it to the QE2, but the QE2 is just faster, so that's why I take the QE2 most times. But if I'm not in a hurry, I'll take the 2A. I'll say, here we go. Actually, you know what? That water wetter might actually be working. It may have just taken a while, but... You know, racing this train. Although there actually is something to be said about that. Because this train is gonna stop me at the railroad track, can't you? And that's the one thing. Like, this cooling system I don't really think is that clean. Because I don't know if I ever drained it. I may have. Oh wait, I'm a dumbass. The reason why the temperature's a little lower because I have the heat movement. Oh shit. That makes sense. Now, is that a limo in front of me? I think it is. Like, what is a limo doing here? And sorry if, like, for the really shaky camera, there's not much I can do about that. It shouldn't be this bad, but it is. But yeah, like, here's this bad gas mileage again. You know, drive from Red Deer to Olds, basically, and I've used not quite half a tank, but close to it. Or not half a tank, sorry, quarter of a tank, I should say. It's like, that's just bad. Like, I don't know, like, legit. The gas is going somewhere. And it's not really being burned out the tailpipe, so... See, now, the one thing is, like, this road isn't exactly smooth, I will admit. You know, the 2A in this portion is not the greatest. But this is not a road that's, like, traveled a ton. Like, it does get a good amount of use, but it's not the mainstay of the 2A, to be honest. Like, this part of the 2A, if you keep following this road, you know, instead of turning into Olds, you will get to Carstairs. But it's just so nice to be back home. I'll feed my kitties. And like I said, I'm probably gonna go to sleep. Or at least have a nap. At the very least. That's something actually, because I gotta get cat litter too, which I'll do that tomorrow probably. There's so many things I gotta do. Plus I gotta mow the lawn, which we'll see how well I can do that. That's something I had troubles with in the past, but I have more cardio now, so I can perhaps do it. Because thank you working the dyno days, that has really helped out with my cardio. Because it's a lot of standing, and it's a lot of, you know, just like minor movements. Like, I'm on my back a lot, actually, trying to, you know, get things strapped underneath cars, but, you know, it was nice. We had 17 cars in the dyno today, which is pretty good. That is actually our record for me so far. Haven't had that many when I've been working, so that's a bonus. He's pretty sure it's 17. Like, they'll count up and make sure, but I'll know in the next couple of days, probably. Sorry guys, I'm just really tired. I don't even know what to talk about. And but I will say some of the shake is not actually the road itself. It's actually the car, but some of it is. Like, and I think, like, because actually, like, somebody was mentioning Lucas. Like, I think I have a bottle of Lucas around somewhere. I just need to find it. I'll put some of that in here. Like, ooh. Yeah, it's some decently high oil pressure right now. Like, it's not super high, but I don't know. If I let off the gas, does it get lower? Not really. It'd be nice if it was a more accurate gauge that, like, you know, really was super accurate. Like, as in, you, as soon as you know, hit the gas, you see the oil pressure change. It's not that type of gauge, sadly. It's kind of an idiot gauge to a certain degree. Because if you're actually on low oil pressure, that mostly means that there's no voltage going to the oil pressure sending unit. So, you know, which is a little interesting. Heat down a bit. Trying to find a happy medium with the heat. Turn that off. And hey, look at that. I don't think I'll have to stop for the train. That's wonderful. Because he's quite a bit ways back there, so should be all good. But yeah, just look at how beautiful, you know, like just the sights are, and just wait till you see the sunset. You know, which will happen when I get so, you know, actually I didn't know that, but it kind of makes sense to a certain degree. But like, you'd think they'd be 12, but really you don't really need that much. So man, it's so odd that, like, in front of me right now, there's a freaking limo. It's like, what is a limousine doing out here? I'm pretty sure it's a limo. You don't really see white Lincolns that look quite like that, typically. Unless they are one. Yeah, I guess I'll find out when he turns. Which, we're going the same way, but... Let's see, are you a limo? Are you a limo, or are you just an SUV? Or are you just like a navigator? Get it, you have a green. Go. It is a limo. Look at that. It's a limo. What is a limo doing out here in Olds? That's wild. But yeah, just take a look at that spectacular view. Like, it's kind of being ruined by Lincoln limousine, but he's gonna really slow down over these train tracks, and not as much, because the train tracks aren't really that bad. Oh no, he's turning. Okay. Alley. I see, not really that bad. Oh yeah, like, honestly, stretch limousines are some of the worst hacked together vehicles ever made. Like, you know, airport cars are similar in that regard, but not the same. So yeah. See, and that's wild to me. But mind you, hearses, they don't get driven that often. Where like a limo can accrue a bunch of mileage in a year. But, you know, a hearse, you might put on 100 or 200 kilometers a year on a hearse. So, That's why, like, if you find an old school hearse, actually, it's probably, very low mileage. Definitely not. It's just so nice to be so close to home. Like, just look at the view that I get. It's just wonderful. I love this area for just the view. The people kind of suck. I don't know how they are out here in Olds, but in Sundre, they're not great. Or at least there are quite a few that aren't great. There are some really good people in Sundre, but I'm just not a big fan of the community. Oh, there we go. Actually, let's just move up to the stop line. So nice how much easier that is in a automatic than it is in a manual to do that. But yeah, like, this thing does have, like, still good power and stuff. That's why, like, when people are saying, hey, like, it's a flat lobe or whatever, you're seeing clouds at the moment. Actually, if it wasn't even cloudy, you would actually see the mountains, to be honest. They're not that far from where I live. The mountains are, give or take, about an hour west of where I live. So, really not far at all. But yeah, like, those are just cool clouds. Oh, hang on. Slow down. It's only 60 through here. I'm doing 70. Come on. There we go. There we go. Now let's just accelerate a little bit. Like, this thing has proficient power. That's why I'm like, it's interesting because, like, this car, the way it is, you'd think it would get really bad power, but it actually feels okay. It's still slow, very slow, but I will lose you on here. But when I do lose you, I will probably just end the stream. So if I don't see y'all, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream. Because, I know that it has been pretty good live, We've been going for almost 2 hours now, so that's pretty good. Whee! And, yeah, and we'll see, with the... Excellent, I am glad. And yes, there are 5, although it's interesting, I got another like on the video. Oh, come on. Focus. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Camera, focus. Focus on the view. There we go. It's like the camera wanted to focus on the stupid phone mount that's right there. And unfortunately, like, you see that phone mount. And nothing I can do about that. It's only because of where I actually have it mounted. It's to the windshield, not to the dash, because I don't have... If I had the money proper to buy one, I would actually buy one and put it on the dash here. But, because these Belkin phone mounts are fantastic. Just look at that view. It's gorgeous. Like, I never get tired of the views around here. It's beautiful. Indeed you do. I know that guy too. Speaking of which, I don't really know if the live stream actually happened tonight. I didn't see a notification for it, so my guess is no. But I wouldn't have been there anyways because I wouldn't have really been able to hear them all that well. If I had like a Bluetooth headset, that's different, but I don't have one. Like, yeah, I just went live just because I was wanting company. You know, I was having a bout of my my bipolar depression, and I just wanted to talk to people. So, you know, it happens. But yeah, and actually, coming up though, I will say. Actually, Harvey, there is next Saturday at Pinup Detail in Nisku. It's a new shop. We're actually having another Dino Day. Although that's next Saturday. So I'll be there. And then sadly, his season closer got canceled. Oh, I didn't lose that for very long. I thought I would have lost her a lot longer. Yeah, I mean, you know. But that's one thing. If I have the carb swap by then, Stitch is gonna... I'm surprised I have signal. How do I have signal? This is amazing. Yeah, intermittently. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised I have signal right now. How do I have signal? Like, that's amazing. Usually, throughout that entire dip, I've got nothing. Huh. Maybe they put up another cell tower around here. That might be why. But, yeah, no, it just... lovely views. Although, like, my camera does justice one bit. Because it does not do low light very well. So... and the shakiness, well, here. That's a little steady, though. That's just me holding it to make it steady, though. Because otherwise, it's like that. You know, and sadly, you can't see that, but I can actually see a crescent moon right now. Pretty cool. See, that's one thing, though, that you gotta watch out for around here is wildlife. Because, especially at this time of night, you know, I've driven this highway loads of times when it's been dark, don't get me wrong. But when it's twilight like this, or not quite twilight, but, you know, it's dusk, you do see the odd animals, so you just have to watch out. And it's just nice. It's wonderful. Oh, see, now this dip, I might lose it. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I might. And you can tell, like, even, like, how bad this is Because again, my camera does terrible low light. Am I seeing the reflectors off the bridge? I thought I was seeing animals on the road, but no. Or actually, am I? No, I'm not. Okay. Yeah, it's very pixelated, and you can tell, like, as I move, it's not keeping up at all. So, it's kind of bad. You know, I can do that, make it a little better, but probably still not great. And you can tell, like, my face is still all dirty and stuff, and I've got probably some sunburn. Because I did not put on any sunscreen today while working the dyno. The deer-shaped bunches of grass. Wouldn't that be a perfect end to the fucking day? Yeah, just smoke a deer. That'd be great. Which, and hitting a deer with this would write it off guaranteed. There is no shot that this wouldn't get written off. What am I seeing? Okay, no, that's... My eyes are playing tricks on me, and I don't like it. Never hit an animal, period. So, my dad has hit he hit 3 deer with one freaking car. He just kept hitting deer after deer after deer with his first Magnum. Luckily, his second Magnum has not given him those sorts of troubles. Yeah, just, you know, it's kind of a nice drive. And, like, I have, you know, that other video up of a different drive that you can take to get to Olds. Instead of taking the 27. It's kind of cool. Although you take the 27 for a bit, and then you turn off of it, and then you go down this awesome road. Which technically, you could probably follow that road all the way up, but I don't know how it looks from further away. And I haven't tried. But mind you, it's a dirt road before that, so you probably don't want that. Basically, like, I think that the grade for now problems as it normally does, so there's that. We had some issues during this drive, but not terrible. Like, so, I mean, just, there we go. I heard the lifter tick, you know, like 4 or 5 times, and like a couple times before I actually did the live, so. I didn't, you know, I have a better camera for this, but it's okay. I'm almost there. I am just about to pass, well, the turn off for the 22. That's like you know when you're tired and you just kind of like space out and you look at your gauges and you don't realize what they mean? That just happened. I looked at my gauges and like, what is going on? And like I knew I was driving. I was trying to figure out like how fast am I going, and I realized I was going 20% of the speed limit, so I should speed up a bit. Fuck. Oh, what a day. But that's how you know you're driving tired. Don't recommend you drive tired, but if you have to, just keep your wits about you. And basically, if you can do, like, if you can keep your mind preoccupied, if you can even just talk to yourself, it'll actually help with staying awake. A lot of people have issues with trying to stay awake, but they don't do anything about it. They'll just take energy drinks and think that's good. They're good to go, but in reality, that's not really the case. So, yeah, I'm currently just passing the little red deer store. Well, little red. It's a gas station. That's what it is. Yeah, listen for engine noises. There you go. And right now, because it's surprising that I haven't heard it, but I don't know, maybe the STP is doing its job. It's possible. I don't know if I fully believe it, but maybe it is. But mind you, like, we heard it a few times during this drive, so like it was, what, 4 times just on the live itself? But like I said, so with the Capri, it won't necessarily be like parked, but I'll just drive it in town. Maybe like out to Olds and stuff, but for the most part, it's gonna be in town though. But big journeys like I just did, I'm taking the Stitch. 100%. Which Stitch is just a lot louder. Whoops. Sorry, bud. Didn't mean to flash you. There we go. And that's the one thing about this car, is that it actually tells you if your high beams are on. A Mustang doesn't because the bulb burned out. I haven't replaced that bulb because I haven't cared to. There we go. Yeah, look at that. We're at 2 hours into the live stream and I'm almost home. Not quite at the hill yet, but close. You know, the hill is like another about 2 clicks. They get to do this all over again on next Saturday. Except it's a little closer because it's in Nisku instead of Edmonton. But that's not saying much. I think it's like 20 kilometers or so. Casa de la Casa. But anyways, I'm going to end the live here. So for those of you that stuck around to the end, appreciate you. You know, there's only 2 of you. One of those, I'm sure, is Harvey. And for those of you that chatted in the chat, I appreciate you as well. Although some of the comments were a little dumb that I didn't really understand, but whatever. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and stay tuned for, like, I'll probably put it up tomorrow, maybe even tonight, I don't know. We'll see how, you know, awake I am. Because like I said, I have a video on, you know, street takeovers. So, well, not just, I mean, it's also like, it also references, you know, like leaving, like the mentality of a street takeover. Because technically, when that crash happened with that Mustang, it technically wasn't a street takeover, but it's like, it's that mentality though, with the crowd and everything. So they weren't fully blocking off the road though, I will say that. But yeah, so anyways, I shall chat at y'all soon.